feels good. All glory to God, of course. Just giving me the opportunity and the platform to be able to do this, to be part of such a great team. And shout out to the defense, holding them to 0 for as long as they did, until our second string guys were able to get in there and get some tick. But our defense played outstanding today. Will put the balls on the money wherever they needed to be. So I kind of felt like I was just out there. He was putting them exactly where they needed to be. All I had to do was catch it.
It looked like this is the first week that you've truly got some favorable matchups as teams try to figure out how to defend you guys. Did you feel that a little bit? Just different ways that they're trying to take you and Jeremiah both away?
Yeah, I mean, we look at every week as a favorable matchup no matter who's guarding us. That's kind of just a mindset Zone 6 has. So obviously Jeremiah's been doing this thing all season. Carnell Tate didn't play today, but we have a really good Z receiver in B-Rod. So I mean, it's kind of hard to defend our defense, especially when you guys got those guys at running back as well. So.
What was the mindset at halftime? Because things changed significantly after that.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Day was hitting on a little bit, but we weren't moving the ball bad. We were actually moving the ball pretty efficiently. It was just the turnovers that really killed us, and that was part of our game plan coming into this. You can't really have those turnovers, especially since the team against a team like Iowa, just chew the clock and try to play a physical brand of football. So the fumble and the interception definitely hurt us in the first half. I think we probably would have capped off those drives with touchdowns. So kind of what you saw in the second half was the result of taking better care of the ball and not necessarily turning it over as much.
For you, what was it like to have 9 catches and 3 go to the end zone?
It was awesome. I mean, shout out to Coach Kelly for calling the plays, and we just try to execute whatever our coaches need. So it's an 11-man effort. I couldn't get in the end zone if all the linemen weren't blocking, if the running backs weren't doing their thing. Other routes on the field taking away and opening up the coverage, and then obviously Will putting it on the road. So all 11 guys are working together. We're just trying to have that camaraderie as we go on throughout the season.
I know in week 1 when Jeremiah had the drop, everyone said you didn't need to talk to him, he was going to bounce back and want to trust him. When he has a fumble like today, what do you see from him as far as how he bounces back from that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know who you're talking to. Obviously, as a leader on the team, it's my job to be able to encourage guys in certain situations, but Jeremiah is not one you really have to encourage. He's harder on himself than anybody could possibly be. So after that fumble, kind of give him the space. I'm kind of the same way. I don't really want to talk to too many people out there. Maybe I'm a fumble, and then he bounces back and has a one-handed catch. So that's kind of just the kind of person he is, his mentality going into things. He doesn't sulk, he doesn't get down on himself. He's frustrated, but then he moves on to the next play. He's able to, make a big play like he did.
Now on to Oregon. What are your thoughts on next week's game?
I think Oregon's a good team, obviously undefeated. Kind of going over to the Pacific Northwest is a homecoming game for me, being from Washington. So this is kind of the games you dream about when you commit to Ohio State, going and playing on a platform like that. So we're excited to be able to welcome them to the Big Ten. I think it's going to be an awesome game, good matchups. So we just have to have a really good week of practice. That's really the only way we're going to be able to be confident the next Saturday.
Where do you get the ball kind of 5 games today?
Yeah, I mean, you have to watch the film every week and continue to identify your weaknesses because they are there. They're on film. You can't be oblivious to the facts that you have weaknesses. So we have to continue to build week in through week. If we go into Eugene and we're the same team that was here today and we didn't improve throughout the week, there's a good chance that we might lose. So we have to continue to improve throughout the week, and then you just continue to build week after week, and at the end of the year, you'll have something special.
Mike, it seems like throughout the year you guys are good at taking it day by day, but you see the schedule in the offseason. How much did you guys look forward to having the build-up to get to the Oregon game? It seems like every opponent has been better leading into
I mean, there's definitely, I'm not denying that there's games on the schedule that you look forward to, maybe a little more than others. But, the Oregon game wouldn't have mattered as much if we dropped this game to Iowa today. So having that kind of level of importance on each game that we play every week, first it was Akron, then it was Western Michigan, then Marshall, and, so on and so forth. So now Oregon just happens to be next on the list. And we were looking forward to that all year, and we're just excited to be able to go down there.
You've been a part of young teams that maybe have trouble not looking ahead. Being such a veteran team, is it so much easier? You're a captain. You don't have to say anything to get these guys not to look ahead with how veteran this team is.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're saying. We have leaders at every position group. Just because I'm a captain doesn't mean that we don't get that same level of intensity and importance from like Lathan Ransom or Denzel Burke or all these guys who decided to come back. So we kind of know what's on the line for this year. We've gone by the years since I was a freshman to now, and we've dropped a couple games that maybe we shouldn't have, and we're trying to find the result of why that happened. And you can't take any week for granted. You have to put in a good day's work every time you're in practice, every time you're able to take care of your body, just because things like that come back to bite you at the end of the year.
To that point, obviously next week is kind of a measuring stick game, but what do you think you learn about a team in the games leading up to that, in the games where you're supposed to win, you're supposed to take care of business? What do you learn about a team?
You learn your level of toughness, what kind of physicality you play with, your ability to not look past opponents. Obviously, we took care of Iowa today. Your ability to fight adversity. I think we had 2 turnovers in the first half, so being able to bounce back from that. 7-0 isn't exactly the ideal score that we want at halftime. Although we were winning, we definitely left a lot of points out there. But battling back from adversity and being able to come out in the second half and really explode like that with a big help to our defense. Now, obviously, it wasn't just the offense. We got the ball, inside the 20-yard line from 2 turnovers. So I think we learned a lot about the team. But like I said, you have to identify your weaknesses in film. We're going to do that tomorrow, and we're going to put a great weekend of practice this week.
Do you have a favorite of the 3 touchdowns? Just curious.
Honestly, probably not. I'd have to see him on film, which one looked the coolest, I guess.
I'll ask you Tuesday.
All right, cool.
I've seen this offensive line really grow over the last year. What's the confidence level right now in that group? Because it feels like they can run block against anyone.
Yeah, we're super confident. It definitely helps when you know who you're blocking for. Especially, I don't know, for me on the perimeter, when I know Travion Henderson or Quinshon Jenkins is throwing the rock, maybe in an inside zone that normally doesn't go for 70 yards has a chance. So I know I have to be blocking that DB in case a ball like that springs. So I think they've been, very motivated. They know what people say about them and what they've said about them in the past. So they definitely have a chip on their shoulder. But we have a lot of seniority on that line as well. Josh Fryer, Josh Simmons, Donovan Jackson, Seth McLaughlin comes in as a 5th year. The only really young one is Tegra, but he's been playing, an amazing brand of football. He's so athletic, has tons of potential. So we're excited to see how they continue to build.
Hey, Emeka, you were so well defended on all 3 of your catches in the end zone. Do you ever look at Will and wonder what opportunity he saw? You know what I'm talking about? The window had to have been so small. You were so well defended.
Yeah, we kind of talk about that in practice. There's no really wide open pass when it comes to the red zone. There's limited field, more defenders in the air, all that type of stuff. So every catch in the red zone has to be a good one, a well-contested one. That's just how it turns out. So it's up to the quarterback to just trust the receiver and put it in the spot, which Will did. It's up to the receiver to make a contested catch because there's not going to be an uncontested catch in the red zone more than most of the time.
That was a veteran move on one of them. You didn't reveal yourself, really, if the
Right.
ball was coming. Until, would you call that a veteran move, a cagey move?
We work that. It's a skill that we train. It's called late hands. Kind of just bluffing like the ball's maybe not coming your way. The second you put your hands up, the DB's looking to match it and punch the ball out. So the later you can put up your hands and really catch the ball, the better chance you have of coming down with it.
Your head coach has already talked about Oregon. He's already turned the page to Oregon and stuff. How exciting is it just starting even right now about a showdown like this mid-season?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's kind of been building up to this. We've had this one marked on our calendars for a long time. We didn't look past any opponent. Obviously, we knew we had to take care of Iowa today, but after this game had ended, it's right on to Oregon. Obviously, you have to be able to celebrate, and no wins come easy, but we know what our goals are for this season.
Are you proud of your team that it didn't look past this? You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When it's limiting like that, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's teams all across the country right now who are in dogfights that maybe they shouldn't be in. And it goes throughout the first 5 weeks. You always see games like that. But with this team, with this group of veterans, we know that's not something you can do if you want to reach the goals that you want to reach. So we just focus on putting a great week of practice in and then coming out on Saturday with tremendous confidence because of what we did on the practice field.
Did you realize that you entered the top 10 in touchdown catches?
I was just informed of that, yeah.
Okay, what's your reaction to that?
Just all glory to God, really, just for putting me here in this position with these guys on my team, an amazing head coach, amazing friends I can lean on. I never really feel like anything I do is of my own merit. So it's all, Christ through me doing it.
Matt, was this your first 3 TD game?
It was.
How does it feel to do it against a defense like Iowa? I'm sure you're probably already asked this.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was fun, good experience for me. You try not to pay too much attention to the stats because they come and go, but having a 3 touchdown game is something that I'm proud of, and just shout out to the offensive coordinator, obviously the O lineman for blocking it up right, and ultimately my quarterback for putting it where it needs to be. So.
It seems